Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace and today is March 2nd, which is a Friday. This is a podcast about knitting and spinning and cooking and baking and cats and books and lots of fun things, but mainly knitting because that is what I love to do the most. I apologize for the past 2 weeks there not being episodes. First week there was sickness in our family. My husband had the flu, which was not very fun, but he's much better now, and then he went on a business trip. And so when I would have recorded last week, we were busy getting him ready to go. But he's back now, and everything is well and happy here. I have been doing a lot of knitting, but just on one thing in particular, so we're going to talk about that. But I don't have a whole lot to talk about, so we'll see how this episode. But either way, if you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, I do have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram by far, but if you'd like to follow me any of the other places, that is super cool as well. I also have things like Goodreads. I read a lot, so if you are interested in the books that I'm reading, if I don't mention them on the podcast, you can see what I'm reading over there. So, without further ado, if you would like to grab something tasty to drink, I have a delicious cup of tea in my adorable llama mug, because you can't go wrong with, or alpaca mug. I think they're alpacas. Let's just go with alpacas. I think they're alpacas because they look more happy, and I always just associate that alpacas look more happy and cute than llamas do. I don't know if that's true or not, but that is just what I've always thought. So this might be my alpaca mug. Either way, if you want to go grab something tasty to drink or eat or craft upon or whatever, and come back and join me for some crafty chat. So first off, apologies again for the past 2 weeks of not recording. Like I said, my husband did have the flu, and so we had to nurse him back to health, but he's much more healthy now. And then he went on a business trip, and he just returned last night. So that's very exciting. He is home again, but last week we were busy getting him ready to go. And also I didn't have a whole lot to talk about because, again, I had been working on this one thing, which I'm going to show you. But I've made a lot more progress this week, so there's more to show you and more to discuss. So that is very exciting. There was something else I was going to say before I got lit up, but I forgot what it was. I'm stumbling over my words because I haven't done this in 2 weeks. Good work. I remember what it was. So, I'm wearing a knitted item today. This is my old romance cardigan by Hohi Locatelli. If you are new to the podcast, I knit this last year. I was working on this last year sometime, and so if you are a longtime viewer, you will probably remember me working on this and really enjoying working on it. But we have a beautiful lace detail. How well could I turn my arm around? There we go. So those like lace panels along the side of the arm, and then very fun and interesting arm sleeve construction. It was a super fun knit. I would definitely see myself making another one, but probably not for a while. But yes, I do really love it. I love how it turned out. I love my color choices. My yarn that I picked is Madeline Tosh Mo Light, so it is the one with the mohair in it, which is why it is slightly fuzzy. If it would focus on my arm and not my face. This is the antler colorway, which is just like a creamy white, and then this color is the kitten colorway. So, and I believe I actually got this yarn for Christmas 2 years ago. So, fun times, fun times. I know some people have put buttons on this sweater, but I did not put buttons on. So I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I really enjoy wearing it. So it's very nice to throw on over like a little tank toppy type thing, and if it's warmer, or obviously if it's cooler. The only thing is the sleeves are a little bit more snug, so it's easier to wear it over like a tank top type thing, because then if you have sleeves, then they all get bunched up, and nobody wants that because that's super uncomfortable. Or that's just my opinion anyway. So ramble. So let's just go on to talking about the knitting and what I've been working on. So let's do that. The last episode that I filmed, I don't remember when it was exactly, but I was working on a test knit. It is a test knit for Isabel Kramer. I think I'm saying her name right. I don't know for certain. So I made a lot of progress on it. It is due on Monday, so I still have a lot to do, but I can do it. So I have one sleeve done. I got it done last night before my husband arrived, which was very nice. And then I have one more sleeve, full sleeve, to do before Monday. But the rest of it is completely done. All the button bands are done. All the neckband is done. I have the buttons. I just need to weave in the ends, give it a quick bath, and sew on the buttons. So that being said, I still do have this sleeve to knit. But as you can see, I've just picked up the first 7 stitches for the underarm, which is very nice. But yeah, it's just a basic top-down yoked cardigan with a very fun little stitch pattern up at the front. I will show you. It involves twisted stitches and mock cables, which is super fun. I really enjoy doing them. And it just creates a very nice, polished pattern, I guess. It looks super complicated, but it's actually not, which is another sign of a good pattern or whatever, is that if it looks complicated and it's actually not. It goes very quickly. I haven't knit very many yoked sweaters before, so this was a fun experience. There are a bunch of short rows up at the top to create a nice back, which I greatly appreciate. I think that was a really nice thing. I also learned how to do German short rows. I'd never done this before. They're very easy, but I really do enjoy them, and I like the look that they give after you've done them. And yeah, so I'm just, after I'm done recording this and while I edit this, I will be knitting on this sleeve. So we'll see how quickly I get it done. The nice thing about having done the first sleeve is that you are, this is the way that I do it anyway. I don't know if this is how you do it. How do you knit your sleeves? So I knit the first sleeve and I go off of measurements for the first sleeve. Obviously because you don't have anything to go off of unless you have numbers already given. So for the second sleeve, because I've already knit the first sleeve, I will just take the numbers from the first sleeve and apply them to the second sleeve. Does that make sense? So that way I know for sure that the sleeves are matching. So I'm not like constantly measuring all the time. I'm not stopping and just like eyeballing it like, is that an inch? I don't know. Oh, let's just get out the tape measure and not waste time, but just, it's very time consuming. Also, a very fun thing about this pattern as well, there's a little faux seam here, as you can see, which I think is a super cool detail because it just makes it look more polished in my mind. It makes it look more store-bought, which I think is pretty cool. Obviously, I am not going for store-bought perfection in my knitting, but it is cool to have something that looks kind of like you bought it, or you know the skills and the ways to make it look like it was store-bought, which I think is pretty cool. So again, that is my personal opinion. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that is how I feel about that. I think that's very nice. The cuffs are very awesome. I know some people have been putting the this stitch pattern around the sleeves, but I did not really feel the need to do that. I really just like the twisted ribbing. So beautiful. There's something just so satisfying about twisted ribbing. Even though if you're knitting it in the round, that is. If you're knitting it flat and you have to purl to the back loop, that is a pain in the butt. But if you're knitting it in the round, then all you have to do is just purl and knit to the back loop, and it's just so satisfying. I really like the look of it. So very happy with this. The bottom as well, I should mention there is a little bit of the stitch motif as well. Obviously I'm holding that upside down because it's hard to maneuver this big old sweater when it's not completed yet. Oh goodness gracious. Apologies. What am I doing? Okay, well you can kind of see that there, but I'll hold it up closer to you in just a minute. There we go. Getting it sideways, but you get the idea. So we have the fake mock cables there, and then again the twisted ribbing. This required purling to the back loop. It was not my favorite, but that's okay. You know, it gets the same effect. It looks really nice. Another thing that I really liked about this pattern is that obviously when you cast off, you're usually doing edges, which is usually ribbing. Example. And in the past or other patterns that I've knit, they will have you bind off in pattern. So in, like, you knit one, purl one, then you cast off, and you knit one, purl one. Well, you cast off in the pattern. Does that make sense? You cast off in the ribbing or whatever you're doing, which is super cool. That if that fits that pattern, that is wonderful. But to get this very nice looking edge, like, look how neat that is. What she had us do is something in the pattern that I'm not going to tell you, but it's a very easy pattern thing to do, and I highly recommend you getting this pattern when it comes out, and you can find out what this really awesome thing is. So, and it applies to all the cast off edges, which I think is super cool. Also, the buttonholes were super easy to figure out. I know you probably can't see them, but they're in there. This is the buttonhole band. All of the math was perfect in the pattern. It's always nice when they have the ratio, if you, for every 4 stitches, or for every 4 rows, you pick up 3 stitches or whatever, in order to get the nice button band along the side, which she did have, which was super wonderful, and it fit perfectly, and it was awesome. So that is greatly appreciated. And I don't think I actually said what the name of this cardigan is at the beginning of me talking about that, so apologies. But this is the JC cardigan, or it will be the JC cardigan. It is not yet published, and I am not completely sure when it will be released to the public, but I will let you guys know when it is, and hopefully I will get pictures of me in it sometime soon, because that is important to the whole test knitting thing. You need pictures of you in it because that makes it look nice. So hopefully I'll be doing that soon so you can see what it looks like. So I guess another thing that I should talk about that I forgot to talk about at the beginning of me talking about this is what yarn I'm using, and let me get it for you in just a moment. So the yarn that I'm using is Drops Flora, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yarn. I love it. I absolutely adore how it drapes, how it like just lays. I love knitting with it. I love that it's soft and squishy, but yet it's still kind of rusticy. This is color number 4, or the medium gray if you're on their website. So it says medium gray. This is not the first project that I've knit with this yarn. I am also knitting my Branches and Bud pullover out of this yarn, but that is definitely a work in progress. So I am definitely enjoying working with this yarn. I will definitely be working with this yarn again because I just love it so much, and it's also super affordable, and the colors are just so pretty. The color selection is not super expansive, but expansive? I think that's the right word. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of colors to choose from, but the colors that they do have are beautiful, and they definitely have like your basic neutrals, which is very important in my mind. So yes, I got about 6 skeins of this, I believe, and this is my second to last one. I have a full other skein that I haven't even got into, but as you can see, this one's pretty squishy, pulling from the inside out. So I have, I'd say maybe get half a sleeve out of this. So I'll definitely have a little bit extra, which is very nice. I can use it for goodness knows what, but it's always nice to have those little bits and bobs to have if you need to, like, I don't know, knit some little baby ears or something for something. I have no idea. It's kind of random, but it's It's always good to have little bits of pieces of extra stuff, so very handy. So yes, this is the JC cardigan by Isabel Kramer, I think, and this is a test knit that I've been working on for her. I will have mine done soon. Needs to be done by Monday, so the 5th of March. So that's very exciting. I'm really loving it. When I have tried it on, I just love how it fits. I think it's amazing. I can't wait to give it a bath and just kind of like see the stitches lay smoothly and all that kind of stuff. I'm very, very excited about being able to wear this. It also seems like a good staple cardigan as well. It's not too fancy. This is not too time consuming, but it's time consuming enough that it's interesting and exciting and you get to learn something new potentially. Like mock cables. Like, I haven't done a whole lot of mock cables, but by the time I was done with this, I was really good at them. But yeah, it's a very good staple cardigan, very lightweight, just very fun to make. Very, very good. So that is all I have been working on this week because hashtag deadlines, which is not a problem, but they just happen and then you need to meet the deadlines because that's how it works. So because of that, like always, whenever I have deadlines like this, I just want to cast on everything. And but of course, if I do, I'll get distracted and then will not meet these deadlines that I have, or a deadline. So because of that, I have not worked on anything else. I have not cast on anything else. Also, in addition to not casting on anything else, my ball winder is currently out of commission because it is a little wonky. So that doesn't make much sense, but for some reason it got out of line, and so now it doesn't wind like what yarn cakes look like, and I don't know what the problem is, but my husband said he would take a look at it, so hopefully that'll get fixed. I'm looking over there because it's sitting right there, but oh, why aren't you working? I have no idea why it's not working. It's a very old ball winder. It's from Knit Pick, so it's not like super high quality, but it served me well for at least 4 or 5 years, I think, so it's lived a good life, but hopefully we can get it fixed and I can wind more yarn because I just really want to cast on some things really badly. Houston weather is warming up, and by warming up I mean that it's in the mid to low 70s for the most part, maybe high 60s, but it's definitely warming up for February. So for those of you who have snow, I'm kind of jealous because all these wintry items, knitwear pieces, sweaters or whatever are being published, and I want to make all these like woolly things, but it is not possible. Or it is not, I can technically do that, but it's not very practical because I couldn't really use it right now. So if I wanted to make a beautiful Fair Isle snuggly bulky sweater coat thing, I wouldn't be able to wear it for a while. So that'd be kind of a bummer, but I also really want to make something like that, so we'll see. Another thing that I talked about in the last podcast was the fact that the Olympics were getting ready to start. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago that I recorded because the Olympics last for 2 weeks and the Olympics are now over. Logic. So yes, the Olympics are now over. I'm super sad about that, but I loved every single minute of watching the Olympics, specifically the figure skating, because yes, that was pretty much what we watched every single night whenever it was on. My husband was a super sweet sport about watching the figure skating, because I know it's not necessarily his thing, but I love it. It is so wonderful. And like always, they had adorable hats. They had adorable knitted hats. That is the key. And so I saw their hats and immediately did some research and tried to find patterns for these hats. I couldn't, oh, the battery's about to die. So my camera died and I don't remember what I was talking about. So we're gonna do our best to pick up where we left off. So what I think I was saying before is that the athletes, the American athletes, have super cute knitted items such as hats in particular, and so I scoured the internet for patterns. I couldn't find one that I was like I thought would be super good because they weren't all quite the same, as the one that they had, and so I was like, well, I could just design my own. And then I found the one that included the USA on the side. It looked exactly like it, and it was awesome. So my mom very kindly picked up this yarn for me because she picked up yarn for it herself. So we have the yarn. This is definitely more of a red and not like a blown out red, but I'm very excited. So obviously the Olympics are now over and it's now getting warmer, and I haven't made it, but I'm going to make it. And my mom also picked up these little patches to match the hats as well. There's a little American flag to sew on and stuff. So I'm super, super excited about it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a quick knit. This is just Vanna's choice in red, white, and blue. So I'm very excited to knit this up so I can wear it next year. And yes, or if we have another cold snap, because that might happen. You never know. Who knows? So I don't remember the name of the pattern exactly or the designer, but I will link it in the show notes, hopefully. So if you guys are interested in making your own American Olympic team hat of 2018, you can. Did that make sense? If you want to make one, I will link the pattern. And so with that, I think I have discussed everything that I need to discuss. Thank you so much for being patient while I didn't record for 2 weeks. Again, apologies, but once this test knit is over, I'm hoping my knitting mojo will come back and there will be lots of things to talk about. Like I said at the beginning, I have all my various social medias that you can follow me on. I'm most active on Instagram, but all that stuff will be linked on my blog and down below as well. Also, as a little this is happening, I am in the process of cooking up something creative in my mind. I'm in the process of working on it and making it a thing. I will not give you any details right now because it's all still in the works and stuff. So once that gets put online and all that stuff, you guys will definitely know about it and it'll be all over everywhere. So, but that probably won't be for a while because I'm still working on it and it's still in the very early stages of that. But fun times ahead. Yay, yay, yay. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I hope you continue to have a wonderful weekend. If you have crafty plans, I hope they are successful. I need to begin and finish a second sleeve and sew on buttons and block and weave and ends. So I have a lot of knitting ahead of me. But that's okay. I'm really, really excited to get this sweater done because I can't wait to wear it. And yay. And so with that, I guess I will see you guys next week. Bye.